Hello.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Crystal. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Kamisha. I am good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about today? I'm excited for our little chat.
So, we're talking about overcoming the fear of failure. That's a big
Yeah.
thing. As a teacher, that's something that I am finding very prevalent among my students, and
Yeah.
even in my social spaces,
Mm-hmm.
among my adult colleagues and friends. So
Yeah.
it's been a burning topic, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear your perspective on it.
Oh, yes. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. On a daily basis, I hear a lot of people, talking about fear, talking about their self-doubt, because whether we like it or not, we has as human beings, we have fear that's within us, but we have to take, practical steps to overcome them. So I know you wrote a blog and you are excited to share some of the tips in it. So, what are some of the ways that you expressed in your post that our peers and our students and the people we work with can overcome these fears,
Okay, well, there are a lot of different tips, a lot of different strategies that we can use to overcome this fear. I think the very first thing that you have to be able to acknowledge is the fear itself. There are
Mm-hmm.
different types of phobias, and failure of fear, of fear of failure is just one of the types. Um, you have to identify, you have to recognize it, call it out, and then you have to decide, be intentional about facing it. I'm
Definitely.
thinking back on you. Have you ever experienced this fear? Like, what's one occasion in your life
Oh
where
yes. Oh yes. I remember just even coming to America. Years ago, just a new place, no family. There was, of course, a fear. I had family driving distance, but the immediate just knowing that, I wouldn't have a mom like I would used to have her before, or my aunt or grandma, that was definitely challenging for me. Even the weather, like I remember the first time walking in snow, I cried because it's so different. But by, taking these steps that we're going to talk about, I was able to overcome, that fear. So,
awesome. Similar for me. I've experienced this fear in various phases of my life, and one that I can recall is me learning to drive.
oh my God. Yes, that's a big one. Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
So my husband taught me to drive, and I still hear his voice in my head. Like, I refuse to drive with him in the car. Will not happen. But that was it. When I was learning to drive, I really didn't think I was gonna get to a point where I could drive.
Mm,
And I remember that first day when he said to me, "Well, I'm not gonna take you to work. You're gonna
wow, you had
you're
to
gonna
figure
drive
it
to work
out,
today."
figure it out.
And I was like, whew, I have to do this. There's no way around it. Um, and so I was not gonna go find a taxi. I was
No,
gonna go drive that car. And I
yes, but
drove the car, I drove to work, I drove back, and I kept doing that. And
yeah,
even though the fear is somewhat still there, waking up every single day and facing it, you start to
head
realize that
on.
this is not such a giant anymore, that
Yeah,
you are capable, that you have more power over this thing.
yeah, definitely. We have that innate ability to succeed, but we have to tap into it and find it. We have to activate it per se. And it takes extra steps on a daily basis to get there. So we have to put the work in to get the the
Results that
outcome,
we
the
want.
results. Yeah.
Excellent. That's true. And that ties into the next two steps. Well, the next four steps that we have on our blog. The positive self-talk. Sometimes, yes, we've identified the fear. For example, if I can think about my students, so I teach algebra, and for a lot of them, it's really, really challenging. And I've had the one-on-one talks with these students, and I hear the oh, this is very hard. I'm not so good at math. And I think that's the first place. If mentally you are telling yourself that you cannot do this giant is too big for you, then you are already defeating yourself. You are already staggering any chances there are for success, because you are starting this journey with I cannot surpass this obstacle. I cannot conquer this fear.
Yeah, and sometimes we are the worst critique of ourselves. And it's so powerful how the things we say to ourselves impact our actions, So, instead of seeing the glass as half empty, like we have to start seeing it as half full.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, like, maybe I'm not the best at this, but I can do this, and I am actively working on the things that, I'm maybe not as good at, but those positive things and encouraging yourself each day, because, um, the first voice we hear is our own voice, in our head. So we have to tell ourselves positive things. You can't expect others around us to say good things if you're not saying good things to yourself. That's how I see it.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And that just led me down um, a path. So I remembered a conversation, and um, this is a conversation that my husband and I we often have. How the choices that we make really affects our life,
Yeah.
like yeah, our journey, the trajectory, everything, even the very simple choices that we make alters our pathways in life.
Yeah.
And another thing that I remember us talking about too is how sometimes we want to get somewhere, but maybe there's this thing that we have to overcome, right, in order
Yeah.
to get to that place. And it might seem difficult, like right where you are at now, and this obstacle that you are facing, whatever that fear is, whether you want to go get your master's, and you
Mm-hmm.
fear that, oh my God, like you're so busy, you have no resources, whatever it is, whatever that thing is that you're holding on to, and you're saying, I'm not going to be able to succeed at this thing.
Yeah.
um you are missing that opportunity that is for you right now.
Yes.
And by opting out of that opportunity, somebody told me once that you never know if that opportunity, if that um if the choice to do that will ever be there
See,
again.
exactly. Some opportunities are once lived, so it's best to pursue it.
Yep.
Yeah. What
um
else do we have?
So a big one, well,
Hmm.
hand in hand with the positive self-talk, is meditating, is feeding your mind, your soul with information that is positive and uplifting.
Hmm.
I found that, sometimes we don't even realize it. The movies that we watch, the things that we're reading, the conversations that we're a part of, like they stay with us, and we don't
Hmm.
realize how much they influence,
Yeah.
like our thought processes, the actions that we take. And so when you want to succeed, and when you've identified that this is a phobia that you have, a fear that
Hmm.
you have to start being intentional about feeding yourself
Yes.
with
Yes.
the things that will help you to overcome it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I love when you said the movies we watch, and the things we listen to, because you have to think of your eyes as a window, and even your ears is a window. You can't let things into your mind that is going to affect you, that is going to bring you down, like the things that we're watching, we're listening to. It should be things that are lifting you up, inspiring you, not that's why I don't watch scary movies. Like I cannot watch scary movies because, that thought of that evil or ugly thing, stays in my mind. And that's not what I want to see when I'm laying in bed at
Yes.
night. So yes, definitely.
Agreed, agreed,
Yeah,
agreed, agreed.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we hear voices, like we hear a thought just pops up,
Mm-hmm.
and trust and believe that thought it came from somewhere. Most times
Yeah.
it's something that you heard. I'm sure, have you ever had that experience of you remember something, you can't remember where you heard it, you can't remember where you saw it, but you know that you picked it up somewhere along.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even some songs around, it just stick on you and you wonder why. That's why, we have to guard our minds.
And
Yeah,
even on
yeah.
that note, not to labor the
Hmm.
point, but
Yeah.
even sometimes we're singing things and we don't even understand what we're singing.
Feeling behind it, yes.
Yeah, like we're just singing some
Because it
stuff.
sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. But that's why we have to, look into things. And especially when you see something is like, why am I keep remembering this? We have to look into it and say, okay, is this something good? Is this something feeding my soul, or is this taking away from who I truly am? So yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
My favorite one though, Crystal, is
Mm-hmm.
finding support groups.
Oh
And
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I think both of us can attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
We've been friends like forever,
Yeah.
for over a decade.
Years.
But
Years.
at this exact point in our life and in our journey, like our friendship has, it has grown in new meaning. Like
Yeah.
you're a support to me, you
Yes,
know.
and you to me, we call each other, text each other all hours of the night, which is what a lot of people, need. We might have family, we have friends, but um we need support. We need people who are intentional about helping us to grow as individual in different aspects of our life. So yeah, yeah, definitely.
And Crystal, if I might share, so I have a title that I gave to you.
Mm-hmm.
When we just started our initiative, we haven't said our business name, but just, you know, I'm giving you
It's
your
gonna
one
be
second.
there. It's gonna be there. I,
Okay. So
mhm.
when we started our mentorship company, CNCE, Clearing Negativity and Creating Excellence, I said to Crystal, listen, you are my destiny helper, and I stand by that. Um,
You
when
are
we find
blessed,
support
Linda.
groups, when we find people that can be our mentors, or that we can well, people that we
Like-minded,
can
yeah.
mentor as well, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a reciprocative
Yes.
process. It helps so much.
Mm-hmm.
You become accountable to somebody, you become accountable for somebody, and it gives it a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
acting with intention and purpose.
Purpose. Yes, definitely. Definitely. And, sometimes, you have an idea and you're not so sure what to do with the idea. But when you put two heads together, wonderful things can happen. So, it's not good to keep things within us and not share it. You might not want to share it with everybody, but you want to find people who are genuinely willing to keep you accountable, give you validation, support you on your journey, be a critical thinker for you.
Yeah,
Because you don't want the yes, 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 nice, nice people. You also want people to tell you, maybe you
challenge
need to
you.
fix it this way and
Yeah,
challenge you to become your best self. So yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yes.
And as you were saying, all of that, um, well, another tip, the very last tip that we have is, if you've tried the self-talk, you've tried the meditations, if you've found support groups, and you still find that the fear is so overwhelming that
Mm-hmm.
you just cannot move beyond it, it means it's time to seek professional help.
Yeah,
And
yes.
that is okay. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with
Right.
you, for
Yeah,
you to, need somebody
professional.
who has more
Mm-hmm.
insight into dealing with it, into
Yeah,
dealing with the problem, right? Because the aim at the end of the day is to overcome, is to conquer, and it's to be successful. And
exactly.
if we are intentional, we can achieve anything that we put our minds to.
Yeah, yeah. There is a stigma around, mental health. In the Caribbean because we're from Jamaica. But a lot of times it's just that treatment, whether it's talk therapy or psychoanalyzing therapy. There are different types of therapeutic things that, will help us to overcome that challenge of fear. Because fear can affect us in our everyday life. And that's when you see you don't want to get out of bed, when you see you don't want to go somewhere or do something, even though you need to do it, to survive, that's when, you need to say, okay, I gotta make that call. I gotta find that person to help me, and there's no stigma. You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for the people around you. And that's why we want to encourage you to seek, the help when you need that help. Um, on that note, we want to introduce you. We have a free Facebook group where we want to also challenge you, We want to challenge you, whatever you're working on, whatever your goals, or whatever some of the fears you might have, and you want a safe space to share, to get feedback, you will have that group and we'll be there to help you. You'll have Kamisha, you'll have me and other supportive people to surround you, with whatever is happening right now in your life. Yeah. Yep. All right,
Definitely,
Kamisha.
definitely. Okay, guys, so that is our little
Yeah,
talk. Feel
yeah, this was
free to
great.
comment on this post,
Yeah,
your own experiences, what you did to overcome them,
yeah.
because it's all about learning from each other. That's what
Mm-hmm.
this community is about. We all experience things, and we experience. Sometimes our experiences are different. Sometimes you'll find people that experience similar things, and we all have different ways of handling them. So the more we put out, those things that work for us, the more we're helping other people.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. All right. See you guys next time. It might be a Facebook Live or a Instagram Live next time. But this was great, just talking about this topic. And
And let
be
us know topics that you want us to talk about as well.
definitely, definitely. All righty. See you later.
Bye.